Hello once again, YouTube, and welcome to my first Doctor Who story in ages. But just wait a second, because, well, I have not come prepared, as per usual. It's a controversial story, everybody. Very controversial indeed. Yes. Ghost Light. Starring my favourite Doctor of all time and my favourite companion of all time. Must be good then. You'll find many people. This story has conflicting opinions. You either love it, you either hate it, or you're either it's alright. And it was the first Doctor Who story by acclaimed Big Finish Doctor Who veteran Mark Platt. And it's framed at first as your traditional, basically the story goes in London, in the year of our Lord, 1983, an old house mysteriously burns to the ground. 100 years earlier, the Doctor and aides arrive at the sinister mansion in rural hamlet Berryvale. Horrors, old and new, await the Doctor amongst the peculiar residents of Gabriel Chase, but it is Ace who must confront her own worst nightmares when she discovers that her past and the house's future are inextricably linked. Yes. It may sound like a horror story, and it is a horror story. It is a haunted house story. But there's another layers. There's so many layers of detailed information, and it's very clever. It's also very scary whilst being very clever. It has an unnerving. The house itself has an unnerving feeling. All these animal props, the people not staying in the house till 7 o'clock. Not staying in the house at night time. People who aren't around in daylight. Blind man. And a madman who believes in Darwin's theory of evolution, and another man who doesn't. And that's the theme of it: creationism versus evolutionism. They're two sides of the same spectrum. And that's a very political thing. And Ace's side of the story, like discovering that the house is the old house she burnt down because of the evil that was left over 100 years after the events of the story in particular. And this is where we see the manipulative 7th Doctor come into play. My favourite. In Battlefield, he's sort of there, but now he's into full gear. He intentionally didn't tell Ace where they were. He made sure that Ace didn't know where they were. All the performances was really... Yeah. He was being manipulative, and that's the Seventh Doctor that most people know and like. Know and love. Love's a strong word. I would say admire. Thinks he does bad things to get good outcomes. The whole story has an unnerving tone to it. Even the relatively normal characters, like the police officer who's found inside of a drawing inside of a cabinet, like God damn it. Like that there. Oh look! Yeah, I have to hold it like it's some like I'm taking a selfie. Anyway, anywho, that cancer. Yeah, like that cabinet that you can hear right now. Yeah, and it's just freaky, and it also talks about adaptation. Like the villain of the story, Light, is basically his motivation. Spoiler alert, plastered all over this video. Don't go onto it. But his bad move is how evil he acts and why he acts evil is because, well, he set himself the task of cataloguing all life on Earth, and he took a sleep and he's awoken again, and he found out that life has evolved, and he wants to kill off all humans, all creatures on our green and blue, on our pretty little green and blue planet, so he doesn't have to. Because it's frustrating when things change and you're making like a catalogue of all of those things. Like, it's the same with trying to do every Cyberman story ever, doing a catalogue of all the Cybermen stories, for instance, and that list keeps on changing, so you might want to destroy all Cybermen stories so they don't change. And there's even special editions, there's recuts, there might be animations that cool people make, there might be animations of missing episodes. Please animate The Wheel in Space, because it's a really underrated story. Yes, that's true. And Ace, you're bringing a character from modern day Earth, well, modern day as in the context of her time, into a time where most of that stuff was like frowned upon. It was. So the way she dresses is, and the way she prefers to wear men's clothing of that time was really good. It fit her character very well. This is when her story arc started to move on the tracks and started to head to her final destination, adulthood. She makes friends with this woman named Gwendolyn, which is a weird name to have. We even call our friend we even call our god Owen, Gwynjamin or Gwendolyn, because he is known by many names because he's lived for so many years. Yes, but she turns out to be the pawn of, what's his name? Doesn't really say, does it? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. The man that is playing this game with the doctor and wants his help to take down somebody. And that somebody turns out to be Light, and he has a friend called Control, who has a very croaky voice, and then she adapts to the society she's in now. And of course, I haven't mentioned the soundtrack of any Doctor Who story, but this one does have a really good lit soundtrack. Pardon me using that fucking boneless pizza black name, but it is really good. Good. Go and buy the soundtrack immediately. Type in Ghostlight, Doctor Who Ghostlight soundtrack into the internet. Go onto shopping and click on the most cheapest option and you're set. Yes. You are really set. And anyway, it's really creepy, especially with the husks and being terrified of the light, and it's spooky, scary. The husks are brilliant monster design. They're some of my favourite monster designs that really need to become action figures. They should have been action figures. Unfortunately, you're lucky enough to get a new series action figure from Character Options, let alone a classic series action figure. I'm not talking about repaints. Yes. And yeah, you have a catalogue of everything. You even have a Neanderthal in this story that adapted to his situation, and he spoke like a normal human being, which is always good. Yeah, and of course, it was. I felt like this was a really good story. You should really buy it now. This is essential. And if you don't agree with me, well, you haven't watched it, obviously. Oh, by the way, this may be dark, Seventh Doctor, but it still has a sense of humour. He still says very funny quips, because Sylve is naturally a comedic man, isn't he? Yeah. But he does seem to be a little bit more sinister in the story. And the story after this, Curse of Femnick, is even more scarier. Yeah. So yeah, this story is 10 out of 10. Next stop, Morbius. Or some random horror movie. Who knows these days? By the way, I'm watching it now. I'm still watching it, so yeah. Yeah, go watch this now. Immediately. So I'll see you in the next one. whatever that video may be. Goodbye. That was very concise. Stop. Go away. Leave me alone. Why are you still on this video? Like, seriously, why are you